2017, thrashing Kyron Wilson in the final in one of the most complete performances of his career. He was untouchable that day. And of course, he's also reached 3 consecutive Northern Ireland Open finals, beaten each time 9-7 by Judd Trump. A tough task clearly for Alan Taylor, who was reduced to spectator in their only previous meeting, as we've been discussing. That superb maximum from O'Sullivan, the highlight. 135 break as well in the 4-0 win. But Taylor, as Jimmy mentioned, when he's on song, can score very heavily.
Yes, he made some very big breaks in the World Championship while we were in Sheffield. He played extremely well. Qualified for the World Championship.
Yes, he managed to regain his tour place courtesy of his victory in the Challenge Tour playoffs, and then in qualifying he knocked in 4 centuries. In fact, one of those was a 145, which looked like a very good marker for the high break prize before John Higgins, of course, made his first ever Crucible maximum. But he is capable of heavyweight scoring, and he's going to need to take his chances if they come his way this evening, very obviously. But equally, O'Sullivan hasn't been pulling up trees this season since that magnificent 6th world title.
No, he hasn't practiced as much as what he might have done. By his own admission, he's not practiced. And sometimes you can get away with not practicing. But when you're under pressure, if it gets to be 3 each, that's when it really counts, the practice. You could open the pack up here and try and get back behind the black. It's risky because you don't know where the reds are going to go. Could just roll into them. Not far away. Good pot. So first blood goes to Alan Taylor. It's a good red as well.
Eight. 9. 40. 15. 20.
Now he could leave an angle
20.
here to go into the reds, but it doesn't look like he's played for that, playing for the loose red. Not an easy pack to go into from the black. You never know.
27.
It's got a good angle on the black to go into them. Make no mistake. Alan Taylor can play. Knocking in all them centuries in the World Championship. Proved it. Look at the whiz on the cue ball there.
34.
He split them very nicely. Trouble is, he's not on an easy one. Red to the left corner. It's missable. Hampered as well.
Allan Taylor, 34.
And it was high. I still expected him to pot that. Now chance for O'Sullivan.
What a pity, because he really did get into the reds there.
1.
But 34 is not going to be nearly enough this evening when Allan Taylor gets the chance, you would think.
Yeah, against the Ronnie O'Sullivan that's been practicing, I'd agree, but you know, he's, by his own admission, he hasn't practiced
6.
much, and little cannon there hasn't gone according to plan.
He was certainly below par at the UK Championship when he lost to Alex Ursenbacher, who in turn lost heavily to Judd Trump today.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
Yeah, he lost his next match as well, didn't he? Some back up.
Well,
So, another chance for Allan. Overhit that one. Needs a rest now. No problem. Gonna have to try and develop those 4 reds around the pink. I don't think any of them go. Above the black and to the right slightly will go to the right corner. Not used to this TV table as well,
So-
don't forget. Lighting is slightly different on these type of tables. This arena, should I say.
8.
It's a big bounce. It is potable, but it's a thin cut, this. Could put a colour safe. Well, he's put a colour safe,
50.
or safer, the blue, and he's potted the black.
$16.
Still needs a couple of reds. That one does go.
23.
51 points the difference.
24.
This is just the start that Allan wanted. Sullivan didn't punish him. Went too far on the blue and had to play a cannon.
30.
And it didn't work out.
31.
As much as he enjoyed being master of ceremonies in these events last season, he much
30.
prefers playing snooker, and he's clearly playing very well again. O'Sullivan resigned to losing this frame.
Allan Taylor, 38.
Well, we've heard O'Sullivan talking this evening about how he's using matches as his practice, and we've got used to him doing this. Coming back when the frame is effectively gone, just 51 left. 4 snookers needed.
He didn't really want to give O'Sullivan some table time potting balls.
1. Eight. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8. One. Allan Taylor, 1.
The winner of this will, of course, play Chang Bingyu, who beat Ken
What?
earlier 4-1, the Chinese teenager, who also knocked out Mark Allan from the UK Championship.
8. 10. $30. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 30. Four. Allan Taylor, 4. Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
The disappearing shot. They could have some odds on that one.
O'Sullivan now seemingly practicing his snookers. He's not going to get them, obviously. He's 45 behind with 18 left. But he's perfectly entitled to play on until they've all gone down. Over on the Eurosport app, by the way, right now, Ali Carter, last season's Masters finalist, is up against Ryan Day. He's taken the first frame. Jamie O'Neill has the first one against Kurt Mafflin. Stuart Bingham leads Ben Hancorn 3-2. Masters champion, of course. Billy Castle is 1-0 up on Andy Hicks.
Well, on tail of 5.
Well, it could go on quite a long time, this. Well, if he hasn't played, then he's fully entitled to play a few shots, get used to the table, the speed, everything else. Good snooker.
Well, we're going to keep going, I think, until Allan Taylor's in a position to be able to pot the remaining balls. Doesn't appear as though O'Sullivan's going to.
I was about to say, maybe here. Still a tough pot.
The frame was effectively won several minutes ago, of course, but for the time being, on we go.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 5.
1 down, 6 to go.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 5.
Could be 5 now. Yeah, he's looking at the score. And O'Sullivan. Could I just try and double it over the pocket? Keep playing that until it goes in, which could be a long while. Oh, great shot. Great shot.
It was worth the wait. Well, Allan Taylor's played a very good frame. Yes, he missed a red.
11.
But when he got his second opportunity, after O'Sullivan rattled one in the yellow pocket, he took it with both hands. And that's exactly
18
what he has
in
to
the
do
frame.
tonight. He looks
Allan
confident,
Taylor.
cueing nicely. And he has monopolised the opening frame. So advantage the underdog. And Allan Taylor has his first frame against Ronnie O'Sullivan. He leads 1-0. Let's take a look at table 2. I mentioned just now Ali Carter with the first frame on the board. Carter, who came very close to reclaiming his position in the top 16 for the Masters. Of course, last season he finished in 17th spot ahead of that event, only for Ronnie O'Sullivan to withdraw, which allowed him a way in, and he made the most of it, didn't he? Going all the way to the final, a series of terrific wins to get there, and very nearly got the better of his fellow Essex professional Stuart Bingham. 7-5 up at the final interval, and that interval actually marked the turning point of the match, because Bingham came out with 4 straight frames and in the end won 10-8. But Carter picked up a 6-figure sum for his efforts that week, and it was all thanks to the benevolence of the Rocket, who withdrew from the event. Still a very good cueist, Carter. We know what a terrific fighter he is, both on and off the table. No reason to think that he won't get back into the top 16 again, although of course it's never been more competitive. There are so many players, Joe, of that caliber, and not enough spaces to fill them all.
Exactly. I mean, he is still a great player, and he could be in the top 16, no doubt about that. But you've got to win those important matches at the right time. Get the big tournaments like the UK Championship, where it's big money, you can climb the rankings, and he could so easily have done it last week.
Welcome back. So Alan Taylor with the first frame on the board, and having played on for 7 snookers at one stage, Ronnie O'Sullivan has left the arena. But some really nice pots by Taylor, and actually the shot he played
18
just before he missed the red was a terrific shot into the bunch. You said there was plenty of fizz on the cue ball, Joe, and he really did get into them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, yeah. He developed the reds nicely to win the frame. But his opening red, the one that we just saw to the middle pocket, that was an exceptionally good shot so early on in the match, because it was only his second shot, something like that. So frame 2, Allan Taylor to break, leading 1-0. He missed the pack of reds. He was aiming to put the red into the pack of reds, open the reds up, an attacking safety shot. But it's still a good cue ball, and he's covered the red by the yellow. So still a good safety. Can't see enough of that one. Doesn't appear to be anyway.
O'Sullivan has been very consistent in this Scottish Open since the home nations began. 3 times he's made the quarterfinals. The other time he didn't compete.
Caught it a little bit thin. That cue ball's coming back down again. He's pushed the black safe though.
One.
Could have been on the black there very easily, but Allan Taylor pushed it safe the last time round. Can he get the pink? And even if he can, it's still a difficult pot, this. Shot makes them look easy.
Meanwhile, Stuart Bingham is safely
7.
through to the second round. He's beaten Ben Hancorn 4-2.
8.
What a difficult table this is.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8.
That won't do his confidence any good. He didn't get on the red as he intended either.
One.
Yeah, good shot.
Still to come this evening, of course, Sean Murphy, who's been struggling a bit of late. Of course, Murphy has been more affected than most of his professionals by the COVID situation, because now based out in Ireland, he's having to self-isolate every time he goes home from an event, and that's clearly affected his ability to practice. And he's looked a bit short of confidence
5.
of late, so David Grace, I think, will feel he's got a real chance this evening. That follows this match. Grace himself has been playing some really good stuff. He knocked Ding Junhui out of the UK Championship, of course, defending champion.
Allan Taylor, 5.
Very attacking safety shot from O'Sullivan. Opening the reds up and getting a very good cue ball. Playing off the reds thick. Sure that there was going to be reds all over the place, and he's left a thin cut to this right corner, possible red to the middle as well.
One.
So this is a better table now because the pink and blue are free. There's quite a few safe reds, but he could develop them. the chance. The red next to the pink would be a good ball to play for. Played for the red to the middle.
4. 5.
Last season ended in triumph, of course, but by O'Sullivan's standards, it was pretty modest up until he arrived at the Crucible. Just the one other title, the non-ranking Shanghai Masters, which he's monopolised in recent times. Of course, the 2 seasons before that, though,
11.
he won 5 big titles in both campaigns.
12.
And when he's still queuing as he can do, there's no indication that his game is in any way on the wane.
No, it's just practice, isn't it? And if you don't practice at this game, it's a difficult game. Look at
18.
that. He's lost the cue ball. It was supposed to be straight on the red to the left middle. So, end of break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 80.
Yes, and you'd have to question, really, how much he's going to gain from playing on when the frame is lost. Is that really going to help him to regain his groove that maybe he's lost through lack of practice? It's a moot point, I would think. I guess time will tell.
Very nearly fluked it. Now, will this red, the second red up, go into that left corner? It could go in off the red if he caught the cushion first. Now, there's a little bit of hit and out there, and another good chance for Allan Taylor. It's not looking good for Ronnie O'Sullivan fans, this.
Yeah, and equally, Allan Taylor must be thinking Sullivan's clearly not at the races at the moment.
Well,
I've got a really good chance here to capitalise.
Yeah, and that could put him under pressure, couldn't it? You know, all of a sudden he thinks he can win.
Yeah.
It's a different game.
four. 5. 10.
Andy Yates, our referee.
11. 17. 18.
Well, that's the last of the easy reds, and he's left himself a little straight on the pink. Well, he's done extremely well to get there.
24.
Powered the pink into the middle pocket. And that was a really good shot.
25.
Just have a look at this pink again. It's absolutely super shot. Slammed it into that middle pocket. Got the cue ball over to the red. So 10 points the lead. And needs to screw that cue ball back for a good angle on the pink to play the cannon.
Allan Taylor, 31.
And a little fortunate not to have left the red on. I think it's just touchy here. Very risky with that red over the baulk corner. Very risky to play anything else. If you could send both balls down the table and play the snooker in behind the black, that would be okay. That red by the middle pocket is unplayable. I don't know what he's looking at there.
All square now on table 2. Ali Carter and Ryan Day, who's in at the start of frame 3. Kurt Mafflin and Jamie O'Neill are level at 1-all, as are Andy Hicks and Billy Castle. Tom Ford has the first frame against Rory McLeod.
I don't see what else he could have played there. Could finish up a re-rack this. Can't see it going anywhere.
Yes, with reds up the table and in inviting positions to pot, who's going to want to break the stalemate? Taylor has the modest 10-point lead.
He's covered the red over the corner pocket. It would have been difficult, hampered anyway. Very risky shot to play that, but he's got away with it. Well, the jaws of that left corner pocket. But he may leave a pot to the middle pocket if he plays that. Now, is it cuttable, that red? He's looked at it a few times. Big shot, this. This is massive. Now, is he going to get away with it? I think not. That was a massive shot.
One.
Now, this is where he could get his cue action going and get his eye in. A few nice, easy pots. although the clearance is difficult where the red is next to the black.
7.
Well, it was a tough red, wasn't it, that Taylor
10.
took on. Had he got it, he could have been in business, but
11.
it wasn't to be.
No, it was very risky, wasn't it? Said it before he took the shot, then it's a very risky shot, but it was a way out of the stalemate that they'd got between them. Now, chance here of moving the red, or dropping in behind it. Oh, look at this for a shot.
16.
Look at that for a shot. Now that is a shot of a great player.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16.
Yeah, not easy along the cushion. We've seen it many, many times. He can rattle the ball, trying to play out for the colour. So, great chance this for Allan Taylor. Tough yellow, yeah, but if he gets right behind it, well, that's not the best shot he's ever played, unless he can drop in behind the yellow from the blue. I don't think he can get close to the yellow here. He could off the pink. That's a much more difficult shot. The blue's the easier pot, but I wouldn't fancy him for the yellow, with the cue ball just being a foot past the middle pocket. This is the shot. He's good with the rest. Good pot. And the only thing wrong with that, it wasn't hard enough. He was right on track to either drop in behind it or move it. That's a good shot. That's a very good shot. A real bottle shot, that, from Allan Taylor. And now every chance of taking a 2-frame-to-nil lead.
Leads up to the blue. Particularly good when you consider he had the extensions on cue and rest. Less feel about the shot, but right in the middle.
12.
He looks cool enough, you know.
16.
Well, he really earned his place back on the tour. He played exceptionally well, both in the Challenge Tour playoffs and the first 2 rounds of qualifying when he was knocking in those centuries for fun.
21.
And he's now got Ronnie O'Sullivan in a bit of trouble here. Really excellent yellow
27.
to win a tight frame
In the fret, Allan Taylor.
and put himself in line to cause a major upset here on the second day of the Scottish Open. What a great start from the underdog. Ronnie O'Sullivan in a bit of bother. The 6 times world champion is trailing 2-0. Well, here we have Sean Murphy, another member of the elite 11-player Triple Crown club, who, as mentioned, has not been playing his best recently, even though he had a spectacular return to form last season, winning 2 ranking titles, including the Welsh Open, when he demolished Kyren Wilson for the loss of only 1 frame. We haven't seen that kind of form from Murphy this season, but he's coming up next against David Grace, another player who's been playing some really good stuff of late. So that's a dangerous match for sure for Murphy, and he'll be well aware of that. Should be a really interesting battle, and it's coming up right after O'Sullivan against Taylor here on Eurosport 1. So that's Sean working on his cue action there ahead of the match. And here's Allan Taylor, who's looked very cool out there. Looks like he fancies the job. And what an excellent yellow it was with the extensions on his rest and cue. That was the key shot. The rest was straightforward. And a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, it's a great shot on the yellow, make no mistake.
Welcome back. A story brewing here with Allan Taylor, who sat out 4 frames of brilliance from Ronnie O'Sullivan in their only previous meeting, including that maximum break. Is the man in charge at the moment. Excellent yellow, which effectively won in the frame, got perfectly on the green, and he only needed the blue. And no danger of O'Sullivan playing on there, because Taylor cleared to the pink to double his lead, and he really looks up for it tonight, Joe.
Yeah, I think the shot there, the shot was obviously the yellow because it was great, but he took the more difficult pink to get onto the yellow. He could have took the blue, which would have left him quite a distance away from the yellow, but he bravely took the pink, and that for me was the shot as well as the yellow. Well, don't have to say it. Big frame this. For both players, different reasons.
The other thing to say is that Ronnie O'Sullivan has never lost in the first round of a Home Nations event.
Can he see this red to the left corner? Looks like he can. Yep.
Whoa.
That's a good shot from under the cushion. Needs another one though.
8.
Had he played it harder, he may have got the cannon to that red.
9.
Another good shot.
$16. 17.
He's only once failed to get past the second round, O'Sullivan, so were he to lose tonight, it would be based on his record in this series, which started back in 2016. A big surprise, but there's a long way to go.
Now, does that red go to the corner? If it does, he normally leaves it low so he can open the reds out.
32.
And he plays this shot so well. Just to drop the white there is
33.
good. That's not so good. Played it with loads of topspin to open the reds up. I thought he was going to play it with
Green
bottom,
ball.
just nudge a few out. And not taking the black on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 33.
Showing respect to his opponent, trying to win, not going for crazy shots. It wouldn't have been crazy had it dropped in. Couple of reds he could go for, one to the right corner, one to the left, but not straightforward. Got to avoid reds.
One.
Ah, another beauty. That's a great shot, and it's a good job it went in. Look at the reds. He's developed the black as well, but it's not out of the woods yet. He's got a tough blue coming up. Yeah, another very, very good shot. When you're not practicing, those are so difficult. Now, can he get to the black?
7.
He can. So, great chances to try and get his name on the board. And what a shot he got in with.
14. 15.
The reds all over the place, all in potable positions. The ones that he needs, anyway.
And that's the thing about O'Sullivan, isn't it? When he does get on a roll, he does his damage in intimidatingly
22.
swift fashion, and that 2-0 lead of Taylor's could be wiped out in another 10 minutes. He starts beginning to flow as he is here.
Yeah, what a great shot, though, he got in with.
30. 31.
Might be able to show you that red in a moment. It could have been a frame loser had he missed it, but what a shot it was. Look at this. From nowhere, the cue ball going into the reds, and he couldn't have split them any better. Already past the winning line in this frame. But I want to keep going.
46.
Get some table time.
47. 54. 55. 60. 60.
So anything you can do?
One. Allan Taylor, 8.
$85 the difference, 35 there. This behaviour is contagious, Joe, just like everything else in 2020.
Yeah, well, they can please themselves, can't they? It's up to them. When somebody's made a big break, although he hasn't played that one well unless he gets a snooker. When somebody gets a big break, it's always a good idea just to slow them down a bit. That used to go on all the time, believe me. Try and get your man out of the rhythm. Now, if Ronnie O'Sullivan wants to practice, he'll keep playing safe. Not go for the pot.
Frame conceded. Frame, Ronnie
Do you
O'Sullivan.
need the practice when you've just made a break of 60? And Allan Taylor has actually conceded. So Ronnie O'Sullivan back in the match then with his most fluent snooker of the evening so far, but he still trails Allan Taylor 2-1. Over on table 2, as you can see, 2 frames apiece, so they've been flying along. No intervals, of course, in best of 7s. Ali Carter back in with a good-looking chance, although at the moment the black appears to be out of commission. Carter, another player who's turned 40 in recent times, but as we've seen, it's no barrier to success these days. Indeed, experience is the most important thing, rather than age, particularly if you keep yourself in good shape, as Carter does. Ronnie O'Sullivan, Judd Trump, Neil Robertson, they're all paying a lot of attention to exercise and everything that goes with the whole mantra of fit body, fit mind, and as we know, the mind is absolutely integral to success in this sport. It throws so much at you. Carter, of course, has always had to be very careful about his diet because of his Crohn's disease, which he's had to battle for practically his entire professional career. Never mind the 2 bouts of cancer he successfully battled and won. So he's well used to having to deal with a lot more than just pot balls.
Yeah, you got to take your hat off to him, haven't you? On and off the table.
Multiple
world
ranking
finals.
titleist, yeah, 2 world finals. Only Ronnie O'Sullivan was good enough to prevent him becoming world champion. Masters finalist last season. Welcome back. Both players having briefly left the arena. Allan Taylor back first, having watched Ronnie O'Sullivan compile his first real fluent contribution of the evening, a break of 61 to halve the deficit. Taylor still leading 2-1 and halfway to one of the finest wins of his career, if not the finest. That was an all or nothing red, but how well did he cue it?
Yeah, and how well did he cue the blue, the next shot? Very good.
Thank you. Frame 4. Allan turns to
So frame 4 of a possible 7. Remember, the last time they met, it was strictly one way. O'Sullivan winning 4-0 with a maximum and a 1-3-5. This is a very different evening.
No reds to go at. Or is there? I think there is one to the left corner. And in it goes. He could do with a good kiss. Very tough brown, but that's never stopped him. Well, showing respect. And what a touch. I didn't think it was hard enough to start with. Not straightforward this, because if he lands up into the pack of reds either side, he could leave a red on. And the cushions do slide, so cue ball's not forced to go where he intends it. He doesn't want to come past the red. Left a half chance. Corner or the baulk corner. Didn't quite come far enough to go into the red, so I was going to have to play for that last loose red. This time, got to try and leave an angle on the blue or the black to disturb them.
21.
Choosing the blue. Looks easier to go into the reds from the blue. Pink full in the face. He hasn't been fortunate though.
26.
They didn't really split as well as what he expected. He caught them beautifully. Pink full in the face. He had that little bit of action on the cue ball, but you need some luck when you go into them. It's not guaranteed that you're going to be on one.
Taylor will, of course, notice that O'Sullivan has come to life somewhat in the last frame and a bit.
Well, a little risky, but he hasn't left anything easy. fraction harder, and the red behind the black would have been the ball to take.
What?
Good pot. Needs to miss the colours. Nicely done. So another chance for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Just looking to see if that red will go to the left corner, the one at the edge of the pack. Not straight enough on the red to play for the blue, so probably have to come down for the black.
6. $13. 14.
And that's okay.
$21.
So is that, if it passes the red. Okay, just having a look to see if that red by the pink spot will go to the right corner. It's got enough loose reds now to win the frame at this visit
22.
without having to go into the pack. And that's a little bit of a mistake, wrong side of the blue.
Yes, you heard O'Sullivan gasp as soon as he hit it. He knew he'd
27.
underhit it for prime position, so good shot required to keep the break going.
28.
But he suddenly looks like a different animal out there now, doesn't he?
Well, you said a good shot to keep the break going. That's a good shot. 55 points the lead. 62. So this red
35.
is all he needs. And we've only been going 6 minutes.
36.
Yeah, and the time he took to play on for snookers, or at least just play on, period, he's won a couple of frames. That's what he can do. His damage
43.
is devastating.
44.
Devastatingly quick.
So can just make a century.
$51. 52.
Nobody plays the game like him when he's playing like this.
59.
Just gets that cue ball exactly where he wants it.
60.
It's so
Inch
instinctive,
perfect.
isn't it? It's as though he doesn't have to think about what he's doing. He just knows in advance.
65.
Look at that average shot time now. He's flying along.
66.
That's why they call him the Rocket. Took a couple of frames for him to come to life, but he certainly has now.
$72.
So by taking the pink, he can't make the century.
72 on the frame.
Well, he's made 1,070. Any more would surely be greedy. As he levels in style, Ronnie O'Sullivan moving through the gears to restore parity at 2 frames all. let's just check in on some of the other matches ongoing away from table 1. Over on table 2 and on the Eurosport app, of course. Ali Carter against Ryan Day, and Carter is now edged 3-2 in front in that one. Tom Ford 3-0 up now on Rory McLeod. He just needs one more. And Kurt Mafflin leading Jamie O'Neill by 2 frames to 1. Just a reminder that coming up next on table 1, it's Sean Murphy against David Grace. And we'll have a look at Ali Carter and Ryan Day momentarily. Carter in again. The frame he needs to move through. Ryan Day, one of those players to have fallen victim to a COVID positive test of late. Of course, the players then having to self-isolate, as everyone else has to. Well, it seems only a few moments ago, doesn't it, that Alan Taylor was 2-0 up and spying a potential upset, but in the blink of an eye, Ronnie O'Sullivan has found his game and his fluency. He's flying round the table now, barely 16 seconds a shot, and knocking in some great balls. And that lead wiped out. So it's now a best of 3 for a place in the last 64. It bears repeating that O'Sullivan has never lost in the first round of a Home Nations event, and he's played in most of them. He's won one, of course, the second year of the English Open, and 3 times finalist in the Northern Ireland Open, including this season, which was by far and away his best run of the season so far.
Well, hasn't managed to cover that red to the right corner. There's also one to the left corner, and it's all about choice. He doesn't have to take either one on. He could leave the cue ball close to the black cushion.
Still right in this match, of course, Taylor, but maybe his early match confidence has been shaken a little by the way O'Sullivan's coming back at him, looming large in the rear-view mirror and then catching up.
Yes, that red on the right side cushion causing him problems.
Foul. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
Tried to leave the cue ball in the jaws of the pocket. Great shot. Great shot, but is he too hard? Yep, he is. Can you see the pink?
Ramble.
Oh, deserve to be on something. But just the 1 point.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
Looks like he may be taking the risk here.
Oh, the miss.
That red on the right side cushion.
Ronnie O'Sullivan
Oh,
7.
he's missed the ball. And we've seen that a few times today. Coming down that side of the table, when they're playing thin shots, they've missed the ball. So maybe the table just drifts ever so slightly.
Yeah, we saw Hossein Vafai do that a few times in his match against John Higgins.
Oh, that's a wonderful pot. It really is a good pot. Screwing it into the middle pocket with left-hand side on the cue ball and controlling the cue ball.
8.
The pot's hard enough, but to get the right amount of side and speed.
9.
Great shot. Just going to put that up again for you.
16.
That red to the middle. Look at this for a shot. Screwing that round the back of the black. Wonderful shot. And still got a red directly above the black that he can play for. Now, he's deliberately played himself low onto the red so that he can open more reds up. And, yep, another one goes. Whether he can hold for it or not, I don't know. No, he couldn't, so went into them
32.
delicately. Well, the one into this right corner looks the safest one to play.
33.
He just makes it look so easy. He's underhit that one and he's annoyed with himself because he's potted a really good red and not finished perfect on the blue. If this one goes in, you fear the worst. Caught that near angle, but still went in. Two reds to the left of the pink. Go to that left corner.
$46.
He didn't need to go into them. They all went, but it's paid off.
47.
Got a kick there, and that took the pace out of the cue ball. There's nothing you can do when O'Sullivan's in this kind of a mood.
And it's the way he's gone from being pretty scratchy for 2 frames to suddenly borderline unplayable in the next 2.5.
So that bit of practice that he did when he was so well behind.
51.
And that's okay, still on the red to the middle.
52.
Another red needed after this one. And again, we've only been going 7 minutes.
$59.
This red, frame safe.
Not playing like a player who hasn't practiced much now. Absolutely
68.
flying. purring, in fact, like a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, and I bet the rest of the players in the tournament are hoping he doesn't practice. Because if he can play better
74.
than this, watch out.
75.
And it started with that long red in the last frame, where that really got his arm going, his eye in.
82.
Relatively
83.
modest 9 centuries so far this season for O'Sullivan.
Magic. Inch perfect, coming in and out of balk.
93.
When he's in this mood, he is
94.
absolutely sublime. Wonderful, magnificent break.
100.
He even got a few whistles there, look.
He's even roused the applause machine into life that was comatose earlier in the day.
105.
But what a change in mood in this match. 2 frames in, Alan Taylor, I'm sure, was fancying the job. O'Sullivan looked to be struggling a bit.
109.
But how he has managed to flick the switch to go from, by his standards, mediocre to quite
114.
magnificent in just a blur. Alan Taylor must wonder what's hit him.
All round the table.
120.
Look at that, just gets down, knocks it in, brings the cue arm back, whack. Brilliant.
127 for the frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
You won't
Brilliant.
see too many better century breaks than that. A clearance of 127 from Ronnie O'Sullivan to just remind everyone of his unsurpassed genius as he leads 3-2. Just the way he flew round the table, potting them as though it was the easiest thing in the world to do.
6. Allan Taylor to break.
So is he now going to race to the winning line, or can Taylor force a decider? He's barely had a look in since the second frame. In fact, he scored just 8 points.
Well, you can't really score when the other guy's at the table scoring. He's had a couple of safety shots, but that's not the best break off. It could be his last shot, that. You know, the way O'Sullivan's playing now.
1.
Yeah, good pot. Cue ball needs to hold up, which it is going to do. Now, does the red next to the black go into that left corner? Queuing up to be potted to the left of the pink.
4. Five. 2nd, please, Ronnie.
Yep, and when the referee says 1 second, run it, he goes back to his chair, relaxes, has a sip of water, collects his thoughts and ready to set off again as soon as the ref says thank you.
Thank you. 11.
So he may play up for the blue and go into the reds, develop the pink and maybe even the black.
12.
That's an option. Hasn't really got the angle on the blue to play that shot. Still the right side of it, though, to play any shot he wants.
O'Sullivan centre stage on the roll of honour for last season as world champion. Took a while for him to find his best form, but what a time to do it. That magnificent victory over Mark Selby from 2 down with 3 to play in one of the great Crucible semi-finals. And then running away from Kyron Wilson on the last day for the joy of 6. Which incidentally you can enjoy on the Eurosport app whenever you like. O'Sullivan deep in conversation with Colin Murray about each of his 6 World Championship triumphs. It's a must-watch.
Yeah, I've seen it, and it's brilliant viewing. You must watch it. Well, that red's coming out, and it's moved over that middle pocket, and it's saved him. Still a tough pot, though, this. Tight under the cushion.
24.
Across the nap of the table. Just made it look easy. Well, a mistake,
29.
and he's still on a red. Brilliant. Brilliant. Didn't try to get the right side of the blue. He'd have had to put too much into the cue ball.
$35. $36.
Well, I just think that was so fortunate to see Ronnie O'Sullivan in this generation, because I don't think we'll ever see the like of him again.
41.
The question is, how much longer can he sustain this level of excellence? He's just celebrated his 45th birthday, hasn't quite got into that red as he would have liked. That's about the only error he's made since he trailed 2-0.
It wasn't an error, it was the tip luck.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 42.
42 is a handy lead nonetheless. And Allan Taylor must feel frozen stiff out there. He's barely had a shot.
There you go. I told you. Allan Taylor just pleased enough to walk round the table in live play. Yeah, he probably felt he had to do something, and it was a very, very fine cut. But what else can he do every time he plays safe? And Sullivan knocks in a red. He may as well go out having a go. That seemed to be a big bounce off that baulk cushion. Maybe time to put a colour safe. Does he do that?
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 1.
He does. Another tough shot for Allan Taylor. There's a safety success. Safety's brilliant as well. Tap on the table there from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, this is the first chance that he's had at a pot for quite a while. And it's not easy, but it's a half chance. Good effort. Played really well first two frames. But then he bumped into genius. Keeping the pressure on, another excellent safety. I think it's a snooker. Maybe you can hit the red directly below him. If he can hit it, he can pot it to the right corner. Didn't want to catch that red though.
One.
What can you do? What can you do? Now he's got an angle to go into those reds off the blue, but it's not easy, this. Well, there must be a red that goes there. There is, just one behind the pink.
6.
The end looks nigh for Alan Taylor.
You see, that blue wasn't an easy shot, and he had to get the right amount of stun on it
7.
to get absolutely ideal on that red. Couldn't have picked it up and placed it any better. Beautiful shot again.
One more red needed.
14. 15.
It's not just the brilliance of O'Sullivan in the last 30 minutes or so, it's the way in which he's sprung it like a trap out of nowhere.
20.
Alan Taylor led 2-0,
21.
and his contribution for the remainder of this match, which is now surely over, is 8 points. And there's very little he could have done about it. Ronnie O'Sullivan
28.
keeping his record of never having lost in the first round of a home nations event
29.
intact in fabulous style.
36. 37.
His timing on the shot. Every shot he plays, his timing
42.
is superb.
44.
And his average shot time is 14.7 seconds.
47.
That makes Chiron Nu look sluggish.
51. 56.
And he's played this, by the way.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
He's played this
56.
into the corner pocket.
End of the match.
It was a scratchy start from Ronnie O'Sullivan, and an upset looked on the cards when Alan Taylor led 2-0. That was the cue for a dazzling quartet of frames. There goes the tip, and there goes Ronnie O'Sullivan into the second round in fantastic fashion. 4-2.